Still on the track into Cygnet Bay. They must have had a special on speed humps. Unless we're on a BMX track, I don't know.
It's time to hit the road, so radio, let's go.
What's that? This morning we're on the track leaving Banana Wells campsite. I'd like to say thanks to the hosts there, Matt and Sarah, for a great 2 nights and fishing and crocodiles and everything. So now we're off.
Dolphins.
Oh, dolphins, donkeys, dingoes. Yeah. Just got this bit of a sandy track back out. So should be in Lombardina and Cape Levine within an hour if we get out of here. This is Lombardina. Not sure if it's even supposed to be in here, but anyway. And that's Lombardina. Lombardina. This used to be the road, well, still is the road to Cape Levine, but you're not allowed to go there anymore.
Wait, what?
And the money left. One place it's open. It's the ocean then. It's showing. Still on the track into Cygnet Bay. They must have had a special on speed humps. Unless we're on a BMX track, I don't know. And another one. How many is that? 30? where you get your caravan driver's license. It's like a jungle out there. Slow down. A worker ahead. Cygnet Bay.
Tide rolls in, soft as a whisper. Golden sun paints the mangrove's edge. Palm trees sway in rhythm so tender. A place where time seems to stretch.
Pearl farm down there. So restaurant. Mrs. That's what they go and get the pearls with, that boat.
The culturing pearls. And the shell is what it's all about. The Australian variety is the biggest and best in the world, much better than the Japanese shell. And this is the boss, Lyndon Brown. He's Australian. So are the people who work for him. And in the pearling industry along Western Australia's northern coastline, that's something of a novelty. The Cygnet Bay Pearling Company's lugger returns to port with its modest cargo. This is Lyndon Brown's 10th season of culturing pearls at Cygnet Bay. He's got no big backers behind him, no ocean-going freighters, no Japanese technicians. Compared with the giant Pearls Proprietary Limited at Kuri Bay, the Cygnet Bay Pearling Company is small beer.
They are about this size and they are around 2 to 4 years old, and that's the perfect age to do the seeding. That's what you saw in the video as well when Lyndon put the nucleus and the mantle tissue in, and that's because they produce a lot of liquid nacre during that time. So that's the shiny iridescent material the shells are made from, but also our pearls. And once they're seeded, they're ready to go into the water again. And our panels, they're just on these long lines out in our bay, and they sit probably up to 4 meters deep. So it's quite shallow because there we have the highest density of nutrients as well. And they sit there for 2 to 3 years, so that's how long it needs to get a pearl. And as our shells grow bigger, they receive bigger pockets. And then when they have this size, they're around 5 to 6 years old, and that's when we probably can have a pearl in there. So that's when we harvest them. But as I said, we do get empty shells. And also, even if there's a product in that oyster, it doesn't mean it's a very valuable pearl. So it's really just a tiny fraction of our products we get that are very valuable, and we can set them into jewelry. So it's really like playing the lottery. You never know what you get when you open up an oyster. Yeah. So now, I know, not too bad, is it?
No.
Yeah, I love it up here. It's just beautiful. Yeah, never gets old. Yeah, definitely. Go have photos, videos, everything's fine. We're quite easy with that.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is what you saw in the video
Oh, no, I'm
as
fine,
well.
thanks.
Our technicians, they have a stand like this one when they do the harvest. And that's around the space they have to do the surgery, the seeding.
Yeah.
So you see it's Not a lot of space. And that's why they have these dentist-like tools like these guys here. So that way they can really go nice and deep into the oyster to place the nucleus and then also to retrieve the pearl in the end. That's how it works. I'm not a technician though. Yeah, I'm not able to do that for you today. It really takes years and years of practice to get that skill. So I'm just a tour guide. What I use today is my butter knife, and with that I can open up that oyster for you too. And then we will have a look how they look from the inside. So that's our oyster right here. And this dark part here, that's our mantle tissue. That's the most important part for us because that's the organ that produces the liquid nacre. So the shiny iridescent material of our shell and our pearls. And as I said earlier, natural pearls are really rare to find, and that has a reason. So what happens there, our oyster opens up to filter feed, and then an irritant enters that shell. It's probably bigger than a grain of sand though, so that's a myth. Just get that out of your head, because they live on the seafloor naturally. So for them it's quite common to get some sand in there. They just spit it out again. What happens though very often is like a little piece of coral or seaweed or even a parasite, but most of the time it's a piece of their own shell getting in there. So you see these outer parts, they're quite brittle. So if a little part like that enters the shell, the mantle tissue produces that nacre and coats it, solidifies over time, then it's a natural pearl, and then the oyster ejects it. It doesn't want anything in there. And that's why we barely ever find anything in there. Natural defense mechanism. So now you can think the ocean floor is full of beautiful pearls. Let's go diving. What happens when they're exposed to salt water for a long period of time? They just calcify. Yeah, so it's a calcium carbonate structure, but nacre. So they just lose the shine, the color, and then they're not beautiful anymore. So nothing to find out there. Yeah. So Lyndon's task was to find a secure spot in the oyster to place that nucleus in the mantle tissue so the oyster can't get rid of it. And that was the hard part. But he found that the gonad that sits somewhere down here in our oyster is the perfect spot to do that. So our technicians, they make a small incision in the gonad, place the nucleus in there, also a piece of mantle tissue from a donor shell. And once that incision has healed, the mantle tissue forms a pearl sac around the nucleus. And then it starts excreting that liquid nacre, and then layer by layer it layers around the nucleus, solidifies, and then we have a pearl, ideally. Yeah? Sometimes what happens though before that incision heals, the nucleus gets lost, also the mantle tissue, they get ejected, and then we have empty shells. Yeah, also possible. And I'm sure you're probably curious what that nucleus looks like. So just like a little bead like that. It's perfectly round because we hope if we give them a round template that we get a round pearl. Doesn't work like that. Obviously it's still a living organism, it's nature, so you get all sorts of shapes. And that nucleus is made from another shell, and that's our Mississippi mussel shell right here from the Mississippi River. So there's a whole industry in America that's dedicated in forming those nuclei and ship it to all the pearl farms in the world. So that just turned out to be the perfect material. So Mikimoto did heaps of experiments, but he came back to the shell in the end because the density is very similar. It's a shell. So if you want to drill through the pearl and the nucleus injury, it doesn't splint or crack the pearl, which is really good. And then the color is really nice because it has this neutral white color. There's no color falsification and the nacre layers around there. So that's why the Mississippi mussel shell. And one nucleus like that costs $11.5 US. And we have 120,000 oysters out there. So huge investment. So that's why sometimes when we have a pearl that's not really worth anything, we just crack that open and get that nucleus back and give it another run. Yeah. So yeah, no natural pearl under there. So next thing I will do is to produce a culture pearl. And that feels very promising. Does anyone want to feel for that? There's definitely something in there. So if you just use your finger and push tightly in here, you can feel that it's firm. Yeah? Yeah, just that. There's hopefully a good pearl in there waiting for us.
$10,000
Oh, I wish.
In that,
Yeah. I think you can probably slightly see it already. Yeah, it's just there. Yeah, you got it. Pretty cool, hey?
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah. Alrighty. Ready for the moment of truth? Let's get the pearl out. 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh. How good is that? Okay. That looks really nice.
Wow.
Did we get
Sour
keeper?
pearl. For the right price, of course.
Yeah, right.
All right. I might just leave that in the oyster so you can take some pictures of
Yeah,
it.
thank you.
Yeah, I might start over here.
Yep.
And then I hand it over to you guys.
Right. Wow.
Pretty cool, hey?
See, we told you to take your time.
Like this long line here, there's no oysters on there, so that's just for the boats to navigate in and out.
Ah, okay.
They just sit a bit further out, and then you can start seeing them. Yeah. Because the tide, like when we have, when it's not neap tide, like it goes out like a kilometer
Okay.
or something.
There you go. Be careful.
But also, like some people, they love to ask me what happens when cyclones come in.
Yeah.
So it's not too bad because they are used to them naturally because they live in that area anyway. Only thing for us is that our long lines get entangled, and that's again more labor because we have to detangle them again, and maybe the nutrients get stirred up a little bit more.
So when they want a certain depth, how do they make
Clean pearl, so that means we don't have a single mark on there. It's an A1 pearl. That's the best we can get for the surface grading. So A1. The other end of the spectrum would be a B2 pearl. So that means whichever way I turn that pearl, there's a little mark on there. Yeah, so that's heavily blemished. And then we have 3 grades in between. So A2 means very lightly blemished. So as soon as there gets a mark on the surface, that's an A2 pearl. If there's some more, it's an A3 pearl that's lightly blemished. Then we have B1 with moderately blemished. So there's severe blemishes, but you still have a nice clean face of the pearl. And then, as I said, B2 heavily blemished. So that's our grading for the surface. And it's not just about the amount of blemishes that we have, it's really also how they sit on the pearl. Because if it's just one side that is heavily blemished, but we have a beautiful clean face, we can just set it in jury that way. Yeah, so that clean face we would just put outwards to face all the others, and the blemishes, I don't know, for example, towards your chest, your finger, or whatever, so no one would be able to see them. You'd be the only one knowing that there's some marks on your pearl. That's why I personally don't think you always need an A1 pearl. Yeah, and they usually are in more tropical waters again, and where we had volcanic activity in the past, so that's how they got their black lid. Not everywhere, but for example, Cook Islands, they have them as well. Alrighty. Then size as the 4th value, so the bigger the pearl, the higher the value. And you saw the largest fine quality round pearl in that beginning. Yeah, so that was 22.24 millimeter, really one of a kind. So that one really checks all the boxes. It has a clean surface, excellent luster, it's round in shape, and it's massive. And it has even a pinkish hue to it, which is really rare for us to get. So this pearl, Bruce was offered $1 million for that one back in the days. He said no, thank you though, because it's so special. So they keep it as a family piece at the moment. But he said he might be selling it one day if he ever gets a better pearl. Since 2004, that has not happened. So that really shows you how rare that one pearl is. I can't show you that one, unfortunately, because we don't have that here. But if you head back to Broome and you have some spare time, just pop in our showroom in Broome. They have it on display every day. Really impressive to see. I just have the little big sister here for you. And that's also very impressive. Yeah? Perfectly round, very big. So that one is 19 millimeters, so roughly 3 millimeters smaller in diameter than the other one. Only has an A2 grading though, but still very valuable. So that one, starting bid will probably be $60,000 at an auction. Wow. So I won't be passing that one around. I might just leave that right here at the table. But yeah, you're welcome to take a picture of that after the tour and have a close on the shelf. And then the mantle tissue coats it in that nacre, so it looks like this. And then we can just drill them out from that shell, get rid of the plastic dome, fill it with resin, cover it with mother of pearl, and that's when we get our Mabi pearls. So that's how they look as a result. Yeah, so half pearls. And we can make very beautiful jewelry pieces with them too. Kind of give you an idea what they look like. Sorry, that's a Mabi pearl ring, and in comparison, a loose pearl ring. Very different, but beautiful as well. So again, it depends on what you prefer on yourself. But they're much easier to culture, so that's what the Brown family did before they found out how to culture those loose pearls. They produce more Mabi pearls. Yeah. And then the very last shade, that's my favorite shade, and that's Kashi pearls. But they tend to be teeny tiny small. Yeah? So I have a big Kashi here, so you can just see the characteristics a little bit better. And you see they're Baroque in shape, so they're asymmetrical again. But the special thing about them is that they are pure nuggets of nacre, so there's no nucleus in there. and that's because they happen by accident. So when you remember the surgery, we made the incision first, then we placed the nucleus in the piece of mantle tissue. But before that incision has healed, the nucleus got lost and ejected, but the mantle tissue stayed in there. So once the incision has healed, it still produced that nacre, but it had no template to lay around. And that's why they're so free in form and pure nacre. And because they're pure nacre, they usually have a very clean surface and excellent luster for kashi, so it's just purely about the size that sets the value for them. So the bigger the kashi, the more you have to pay. Yeah. And kashi comes from Japanese again and means poppy seed, because imagine having a seedless pearl in our little Ikoya shell. They're tiny as a poppy seed. That's where the name comes from. Yeah. And because they tend to be smaller, we have a special design for them, and that's our Kimberly lily design right here. So we have the lily pad, and then our pearl resembles a raindrop in there. It's just to pay some homage to the region up here. Quite beautiful too. And I have a family piece here from the Brown family, and that's Allison's kashi strand. So Bruce collected big kashi pearls over 50 years of harvest to put them together in a strand for her. And that's how it looks like.
Wow.
How beautiful is that? Yeah.
Can we come up and get a photo of these later?
Oh, 100%, definitely. Thank you. So, as I said, that one kashi, do you want to? Yeah, sorry. Thanks for holding that. So that one kashi I passed around, that's already a really big kashi. But if you compare it to those kashis here, that's a joke. Yeah, they're massive. And we never really get anything like that, and that's why it took 50 years to complete that strand, because it's so rare to get.
Yeah.
And then he made a clasp out of Australian gold and Canada diamonds, of course, and we got an all Australian strand for his Alice. But yeah, I think she deserved that after living in a paper bag.
Value?
Well deserved. Value, good question. So obviously it's not for sale.
No.
But starting bid would probably be around $330,000. That's what we think. Yeah. But then also these big pearls, I'm pretty sure they sell for more than that if they were to go to an auction, because there's very rich people in the world. So
Sure.
yeah.
There we go.
There's the Timor Sea. One arm point. Like that, one arm point.
The tide rolls in, soft as a whisper. Golden sun paints the mangrove's edge. Palm trees sway in a rhythm so
It's that tide rushing in.
a place where time
So this is,
seems to
you can see where they got the waves, because it's like where they, because that tide height, trying to get through all these islands. You can see it over there, how wavy it is.
Beautiful Cygnet Bay, oh how you hold me. Warm tropical breeze, my soul set
Got a bit of rubbish floating there.
blue ocean sea, where dreams come
Oh, it's
to
a turtle.
stay.
A turtle?
Forever I'll love you, Cygnet Bay. Shells scatter like jewels on the shoreline. Footprints fade in the sand's embrace. Salt on my lips, the taste of a memory. The waves, they hum with grace. soul set free.
here at Cygnet Bay.
A blue ocean
Tomorrow we head south.